What's going on YouTube? It's that black dude and I am back with another video. So I'm gonna just kind of dive right into it. This has been bugging me. Actually, it's been getting on my nerve. And what I'm talking about is this school shooting out in Florida and all this gun control talk. So alright, we all know this 19-year-old kid went up, shot up a school, which was totally uncalled for. And there was some other screwy stuff going on with it that is not really being talked about, at least in mainstream media. Even on conservative radio, they're not really talking about it all that much. I guess they don't want to get caught with their pants down or whatever. But I'm going to talk about it. It's just been bugging me. I hadn't done a video on it, and it's really getting on my nerve. All this stuff on the news about it, gun control, this, ban that. It's just really egging me. So let's go ahead and dive into it. 19-year-old kid shoots up the school, something Cruz, which is his name. Spanish guy, which the news was quick to call a white Latino, which is, there is no such thing. The kid was Spanish little brat who probably needs to be hung. Yes, he had a hard life. So what? I've got a hard one too. I didn't go shoot up the school. Probably worse than he had. Anyways, some funny stuff was going on. The school had started doing drills and stuff, and you know, the kids that were involved in it, they just thought it was a drill. Didn't feel the need to panic or anything. So out of this here shooting, we find out that the cops had been called to this kid's house more than 20 times. We also find out that one of the kids who was interviewed was not even a kid. He was a crisis actor, and I'm talking about the piece of trash David Hog. David Hog, who graduated from a school in California. You can just go find the stuff. I'm too lazy to figure out what school he went to. I had the clips of it. I might set it as a thumbnail or something like that. I think I'll do it like that. He'd already graduated school. And some videos surfaced online of him on different interviews in different parts of the country. In California, there was something about a surfer who was supposed to be his friend, who set his sandy surfboard on a trash can, and the lifeguard was like, "Hey, you need to get it off." And David Hog was interviewed about that. Then the whole thing with the concert shooting up there in California. He was supposed to be a witness in that. Now you've got the Florida school shooting. He was a student there at the school. Straight up crisis actor. And to make things worse, there was a video on the internet with him interviewing with, I believe, CNN a month earlier than the shooting, which is very fishy to me that you're going to be interviewing somebody about a school shooting that hasn't even happened yet. He also revealed that his father was a former FBI agent. Okay, so police called a bunch of times to this kid's house. FBI was warned twice about him and didn't act. The crisis actor shows up and proclaims his father was a FBI agent. Also, this so-called kid was interviewed a month before it happened. That's kind of fishy, isn't it? Kind of sounds like this was a setup, doesn't it? There are also rumors floating around that the shooter was an Antifa member. Yeah, the violent hate group, Antifa. So, what's really going on here? this your government trying to push gun control again and use a school shooting for it? Why didn't the FBI respond if they known twice? And let me tell you something, you trolls, I hope you make it this far. Don't thumbs this down, because this affects you too. And if you got kids, it affects your kids too. Because, you know, the left is always in a hurry to say, let's ban guns, and the AR-15 is a horrible gun and should be banned. And after the shooting, of course, the first thing they did was politicize this. We need to ban AR-15s and assault rifles, bump stocks, this, that, and the other. That's been, and all this gun control talk since then, it's just been the buzz. It's been in the news all day, every day. And Trump running his mouth talking about raising the age limit and signing legislation in place, you know, to ban bump stocks, raise the age, stuff with the background checks, and I'm finally disagreeing with Trump on something. So there you go. There's your fair and balanced. Listen here. We can make all the laws we want, and that's not going to stop a criminal from breaking. You can continue to keep weed illegal, and people are still going to be getting weed illegal. You can, robbery, stealing, jacking somebody, that's illegal. Doesn't stop people from doing it. Killing, that's illegal. Doesn't stop people from doing it. If you impose laws on law-abiding citizens, the only people who are going to follow that are law-abiding citizens. That's it. The criminals don't care about your laws and how many you put out there. If the troops came and they were going to round up all the guns in the United States of America, and you hid your gun, said, oh, I don't have any, and you hid your guns from them, that makes you a criminal. You're breaking the law. There's nothing you can do to prevent that. Now, the only thing that I can see where I agree with Trump on this thing is, you know, people who are nuts, I think that's what he said it. People who are nuts getting a gun, they shouldn't be able to get a gun. But if you go back a few years, it was the previous administration that made it easier for people of mental illness to get guns. So you can trace that back to them. But this kid, this 19-year-old, he had guns legally and illegally. So some of his guns were legit and some were not. And whether they were legit or not wouldn't have stopped this guy from shooting up the school or anywhere else. Being a terrorist is illegal, but it doesn't stop them from bombing up malls and things like that. Lying to the FBI, Hillary. The Congress, Hillary. And having these email servers in your bathroom, Hillary. And communicating with other people, like the president of Barack Obama was communicating with her, Hillary. Selling her uranium and using the Clinton Foundation as a place saying, hey, you know what? Give us those millions of dollars and we're going to give you this uranium. Using your charity to benefit your personal needs. Illegal. Didn't stop the criminal from breaking the law, did it? There are laws in place for that already. And those laws are still broken, so. This is all a bunch of smoke and mirrors to me. And Trump, you're walking this slippery slope, screwing around with this here because I know you said that you're conservative on certain things and liberal on others. At least you're being true to that. And right now, I believe the left is playing you emotionally.
Keep left on I-45.
You can have all the emotions in the world, but it might not do any good for the cause. That's why you're supposed to keep your emotions out of politics. You're not supposed to get emotionally attached to your representative. No. You look at what they can do and what they can do for you and how they're going to do things. Not, oh, I like this person because he's black. Or it's a woman.
Continue 8.3 miles on I-45.
You look at what they're going to do for your community, for your state, city, state, and country. That's how you vote a person in. So, yeah. Said it's been bothering me. Like you had all that fishy stuff coming out. And they're pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing for new gun control. I'll tell you what, if they outlaw guns, I'm going to be a criminal because they ain't getting mine. And here's some other stuff that you need to watch out for. They're talking about banning AR-15 and semi-automatics. Well, the AR-15 is just a regular hunting rifle, okay? Nothing special about it. It's a semi-automatic. Another semi-automatic would be your old 6-shooters. Those are semi-automatics. A regular 9mm is a semi-automatic. Basically, all guns, by definition, are a semi-automatic. Because you pull the trigger, and there's a spring in there that activates. After you pull the trigger, the spring has action. It expands and retracts. One part of it expands when you pull the trigger, or it retracts, or whatever, however it works inside. It's got a spring in there that does work without you doing it, which makes it a semi-automatic. So if they're successful in banning semi-automatics, guess what? Your 6-shooter is going to be taken. Your 38 special is going to be taken. Because that's going to cover all guns.
Continue 3.7 miles.
Even a slingshot, because you're pulling it back, once you release it, it throws the rock or whatever you got in it, and it comes back automatically. It's semi-automatic. So, be careful in what you're pushing for. I understand it sucks to have all those kids die unnecessarily. But, there's nothing we can do about it. I guess one thing that I can agree with Trump on, another thing that I can agree with him on, is having armed CHL holding teachers on the staff, armed and ready. See, that cop who hid and didn't do anything and let those kids die, you know that guy resigned, right? But let's just say we had an officer in that school that had the cojones to go out there and stop this kid from shooting up other kids, put a bullet in the back of this kid's skull, or several rounds in his back, wherever. I don't care. You go out there and you kill the guy. That gun would have stopped him. If you had other teachers in there, and there's some veteran teachers, and there's some teachers there that carry. You don't tell the students who's carrying, they don't show it off. They can stop that. Because while you're calling the cops, the shooter's still in there, bang, 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 while the cops are on the way. So arming the teachers, yeah, I believe you should. Are there going to be some nutcase teachers? Yep, unfortunately. Let's hope not, though, because if they do get some armed teachers in there with CHLs, and one of them just get ticked off and shoot a kid, and the kid end up being unarmed, guess what? That's going to be another narrative to ban your weapons. Second Amendment. Second Amendment was not about you just protecting your behind because you got some punk kids that live next door that's always causing trouble and you're in a bad neighborhood. But It is to protect you from a tyrannical government, a government that would take you over. Hitler, one of the first things he did once he was elected, because he was likable, everything's going good and smooth, collected the guns. And what happened? Well, we know what happened to the Jews. There were other countries, like Saudi Arabia, thriving. And as soon as they took up the guns, we had Hussein in there. Saddam Hussein, boy, that was a bad dude. That places like Cuba, thriving country. No guns, dictator, done for. North Korea. The guy was nice and likable, took up the guns. Slaves. Basically, that's what they are, basically slaves. You better be singing Oh Dear Leader songs. You better watch that one channel. That's what happens when your way of defending yourself is taken away and done away with. You as a people will be taken over. Anyways, I can talk about this longer, but I'm gonna go ahead and end this video because, quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Yeah, I feel bad for him, but there's not a doggone thing we can do to stop a criminal from getting a gun. Only thing you're gonna do is make stuff harder for law-abiding citizens who want to protect their family. It's gonna be harder for them to get weapons. Anyways, if you like this video, the usual, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you will know when I produce new videos. Anyways, that's it. Finished driving this traffic. God, I hate Houston traffic. Look at this crap. Speaking of doing something, they need to make the driving test harder. Make everybody learn how to drift. That'll be on the test. I bet you 90% of these people will fail and we won't have any of that traffic. Maybe it'll cut down on some of that man-made global warming. Because you know, way back when we were cavemen, we were driving these Suburbans around, heating up the atmosphere and screwing it up, just polluting away. Even though we seem to be in kind of a cooling period. Anyways, that's about it. Maybe we'll talk about climate change being a hoax, but everybody should know that already. I mean, heck, you look at the ice ages and the Jurassic ages and all of that stuff there. Heck, a volcano, when it erupts, it throws out more carbon than all of mankind put together. And you know what they're taxing? Carbon dioxide. Yeah. You know, we got CO2 tanks in the back. Carbon dioxide, oxygen, CO2. We got that in the back, in those tanks that we give to people. So they're literally taxing the air that you breathe. How stupid is that? You mean this planet wasn't getting hot and cold without man being around? With the dinosaurs? I mean, did they make like special SUVs way back in the dinosaur ages? Like, I can imagine the T-Rex driving around in his big Ford Explorer, like a special edition, because it didn't have to be a big one. That Explorer would probably be about 2 stories tall. Probably be about as big as that building over there, so the T-Rex can carry its kids with them, get the kids to and from school, get them all educated so that they wouldn't fall for this BS that they're teaching our kids. Anyways, peace out.